And look at Jordan.
Oh my gosh, with all the curls and the gorgeousness. Oh, you're muted. Here.
And all the hair.
Curls, no makeup, and Parker.
Listen, the curls, you don't even notice anything past that. You're just like, man, she has glorious hair.
Thank you. The like low-key mane over here, but
What do you do that with?
well, these are my natural curls for the most part, and then I just like put like a little extra right in the front to like make it. Yeah.
This is my natural. I wanted to know how I did it.
I thank my mom. My mom gave me great hair genes.
Golly.
Do all your little people have curly hair?
Just Andy, and hers are like
Big,
bouncy, curly little afro, and it's the best.
Love that.
Love it. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell you right now that our whole team is going to hop on at 12:05. It's just what they do.
It's just how it rolls. And I was actually shocked that y'all have a noon call. Like we don't have my Jules. No, one of my Jules still works full time.
Yep.
But the rest of them don't. But everyone else pretty much works full time with their Plexus business. So like we never get to do midday stuff because. Yeah.
So what we found, we were doing a coaching call that was, it was a closed coaching call. It was like, you got invited to it. We did that for like, gosh, Andrea, a year and a half or more. Mm-hmm. And it was at 10 a.m. on a weekday morning. And it was great. And people, even at work, were hopping on. And then as that sort of like diminished, we were like, okay, well, let's open it up to the whole team and let's do it at noon. And that way we'll see if people can get on like during their lunch break or maybe plan around it. But I've been on your team's call. And is it at night?
It's at night. Yeah. We have a lot of college girls.
Yes, you do.
Yes. And so most of them are on East Coast, but, and then we have a big team in California. So it's like time zones are super weird. And so we make the Eastern people just stay up late.
Yeah.
So how do you schedule that? Do you say I'll do one night a week where I'll be on, I'll lead, and I'll be like facilitating, or are you like, hey, everyone else has got to pass the buck because there's no way I can be on for all the night things that everybody needs?
Yeah, so I'm on a call every Tuesday night. We do a call, and we have for like 3 years. And so we do a Tuesday night every single week. And that's usually a training of some sort that me or one of my Jules leads. But like this week, we have our senior golds leading it. And so there's that. And then we have a Monday night opportunity call every other week. And that leaves Thursday nights for us to go do our own events and stuff. And Sunday night. And then, Sunday nights, I'm leading a book study also. So there's that.
Oh, yeah. And there's that.
That sounds like our 2020. Yeah. And we about passed out and fell down on the ground dead.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it is like Zach knows. Like Zach he just knows it's Tuesday. That's our Tuesday. That's that night. Church is that night. Friday night is our date night. Saturdays are off limits. Sunday nights are book studies. Thursdays are for events. Like if I have one. And so he knows. Like that's just how it's been for 6 years.
Oh yeah. I mean, that has been our family, and I know Andrew's as well. It's like you've got to get family buy-in.
Mm-hmm. I will say, as the kids have gotten older, y'all, I was looking at next Tuesday. Every single person in my family in a 3-hour period has something important. All 5 of us, like down to my 12-year-old who has the like preview the junior high that night. Like none of it's replaceable. Yeah. There's a basketball, and I'm like, how?
No, I'm not looking for, and I do think it's a different season. It's like this season, I can just do everything with her. She can come to retreats with me. Like she can do calls with me. And so it's just a different, I'm not there yet. I'm not looking forward to that. What rank are you guys, Melissa? Let's see, Melissa, Jill, Rhonda. What rank are you guys?
I'm Ruby.
I'm Emerald.
I'm Emerald.
Y'all are ballers.
This is
I want to hear your stories. Coach me, teach me.
Rhonda, don't you dare shake your head, or you know I will sign you up for next week. Oh, okay. Well, I want to be mindful of our time and of Jordan's time too. So we told Jordan right when she hopped on, we said the majority of our team will hop on 5 minutes late. So, that's
Rhonda said yes. She said yes.
okay. I'm going to introduce Jordan. I want to tell y'all, I met Jordan like just about maybe 6 months after I'd moved to Arkansas, and she had been asked to host a Plexus, I can't remember if it was called Health and Happiness event back then or Opportunity Tour, but she was hosting, and I believe she was a new Emerald. I think you were an Emerald, or were you a senior Ruby?
I think I was senior Ruby.
Okay. I just remember being
Think.
like, wow, they asked a senior Ruby to host, and she did great. And then we all went to dinner later, and Jordan, you remember, I think we went to dinner with like Alec and Matthew Aaron, some of those people, and you were asking me a lot of questions, and I thought, this girl, she gonna rank up real quick. And you were in major momentum.
I was in
And-
momentum, but I was so nervous just to be in y'all's space because I wanted to be there so badly. And I was like, give me everything.
Well, and I think it's that hunger. Okay. It was like Jordan was hungry and she was not afraid to be hungry. There's my dog. All of that. And I think that was part of that desire. And that's where I just want to say this about you. One of my favorite things about Jordan is that she is passionate and desirous for growth, for leadership, for her team. And that is a part of what I think is her massive engine that keeps her going. So let me give her a proper introduction, because she is a Diamond Senior Gold. She was a top 10 Portugal earner, if you watched that happening last year. She's been a Silver Stars earner. That means that's, I believe you earn it from the rank of like Senior Gold to Senior Ruby. If I'm correct, they've changed it somewhat. It's the person who has the most people rank up to Silver in their organization per month. She won that trip to corporate. She has 4 level 1 jewels and 6 jewels total. And she got started in June of 2017. Now, on the personal side, because I've met Jordan's husband, who is super cool. He's a coach. He was a coach, but now he does full-time ministry. She also has 3 daughters, and she's 32. So here's why I wanted to have Jordan on. I believe you were one of the first people that I asked Jordan, because she had me on her team call maybe earlier this spring. And when it came time for questions, people like had they had their cameras turned on, and it was like this. They were all like, I've got a question. I've got a question. And I was like, she's got a whole team of people who are really dialed in. And that is so energizing. Y'all know this. So Jordan, I'm going to be quiet and you can take it away. We told her she could train on whatever she wants. So take it away.
Well, I wasn't planning on talking this, but I do love the topic of energy, because I think all momentum is energy, and energy starts with us. And my energy doesn't matter if I'm having a baby. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I haven't slept in 9 months because I have a new baby. It doesn't matter if it's basketball season and my husband's coaching. Like, my energy is always there and positive, because I know what this business does. I've seen it. I've seen it happen in my life. I've seen it happen in my girls' lives. And I continue to recruit and create new silvers, senior silvers, and golds. Therefore, I'm always getting wins, and my belief is always being built, because I'm never stopping my own personal work. And I feel like that's really important when it comes to energy. And so I have some questions for y'all. If you had to write down one word for how you feel about your business right now, what would that one word be? Some of you are tempted to put like stagnant, stale, low energy is 2 words. I don't know, whatever you could put. But if anybody wants to share your word, I would love to hear it. Some of y'all are like momentum, energy, ready, prepared. I don't know. What did y'all write? I want to hear. Or you can put it in the comments too. Growing. Okay, plateau, stagnant. Committed. Okay, I like those. Okay, so my next question is, what book are you currently reading? My next question is, when is the last time you developed a level 1 silver? when is the last time you pulled out an IPA sheet and filled it out 10 days in a row? Because here's what I believe, and here's what I know to be true, because my upline, Tamara, told me this, and I know it's true because I've seen her do it, and then I've seen Jessica do it, and now I do it, and now I see my leaders do it, is action cures everything. Sometimes that action is rest. Sometimes you need to put your phone down and go on a date. But you guys, if you are stagnant in your business, the answer is never pull back, take a nap for a week, don't touch your business. Like, that is not going to create anything for your business except for more of what you don't already have. And so what I love to do is, it starts with me. And this is what I've done over and over in my business, is if I want to see movement, I go create movement by moving. For example, if I see that my thread is slow, not a lot of questions are being asked, not a lot of people are talking, not a lot of celebrations to be had, I go get my IPA sheet out, share the messages that I sent that day. I go show them how to get the win, who to talk to, because if somebody's not an activity, it's because they probably don't know what to say or who to talk to. So if I go give them those things and then show them that it worked, and I do it over and over and over again, then they start getting inspired by what's working and they go follow suit. And so anytime there's something is not moving, I look at inward first. This is my fault. How do I fix it? Because almost everything can be fixed with activity. Okay, so let me just tell y'all a little bit about me and how this has played out in my story. And then I love questions. I would much rather you guys ask questions than me just sit here and talk. So I want all the questions. But I started back in 2017. But before that, I tried posting for a whole year before I went silver. I was very in and out. I would post a copy paste thing. I would maybe get a couple of people liking or commenting. I was not going to message people. I wasn't going to follow a system. I wasn't going to be coachable. I was not all in. I had zero vision. There was zero belief. I did not want this. I did, but I didn't want to do the work. And by the way, I was redoing a Bible study earlier, and freedom is not willy-nilly, simple, sitting on your couch all day. Freedom actually takes a whole lot of discipline, and I did not have that. And so I, a year later, had my second baby, Andy, and I decided that if I was actually going to make the money that Jessica and Tamara and all these other people made, I was actually going to have to treat it like a business. Because here's what I found: if you're treating this like a hobby, most of the time you're in and out. You're letting outside people's voices win over your own belief, your own vision for your own family. And you care a whole lot more when you're on a hobby about what other people think than you do what you think, what the Lord says about you and the actual truth. Usually hobby owners are overwhelmed. Usually hobby owners do not know how to make time for their business. Hobby owners are very inconsistent. And here's the truth: I've been a hobby owner many times, and I've had to get back into being a business owner. There's a really good podcast I can send you on, Becky, if you want me to. But anyway, so I was a hobby owner, and I had to switch to my business hat. I had to stop asking my sponsor all the questions about the comp plan. I had to go learn it and read it and print it and use it. And I had to print some IPA sheets and figure out how to use them. And I had to go learn some systems, and I had to watch YouTube videos that were longer than 5 minutes long, because that was my excuse until I was senior gold. Oh, I don't have time to listen to any videos that are longer than 5 minutes long. Those long Zoom recordings, like 40, 45 minutes long. Yeah, didn't even touch them. Wasn't going to touch a book, none of it, until I needed this business, until I actually wanted it to work. And so that summer, I decided I was going to treat this like a business. Once I did, we went silver that month. We went gold 2 months later. We went senior gold 2 months later. And then, so we went senior gold in October. And then we went ruby in March, senior ruby in April. And that season was super hard. Anybody here ever been through a really hard, like, life season? Okay. I led a call for my team the other day, and basically I'm like choosing what's actually hard. And so for me, I had the choice of, we had an 18-year-old boy come live with us during that time. I had just quit my corporate job. Mind you, at gold, I quit my corporate job. And then we went senior gold shortly after. Then we had an 18-year-old boy come. Then me and my 2 girls, one of which being a newborn, got the flu. My husband got promoted to head coach of a very large program because there was fraud going on with his head coach. Very, very stressful time in our marriage. He was depressed, highly depressed, you guys, like to the point where I almost had to leave him. And it was the worst, probably 6 to 8 months we have ever had since I have known him in however many years that's been, 15 years, something like that. Okay. So if you're sitting there and you're in a hard season, I'm going to tell you I love you, but the answer is not to quit. So for me, I could either quit and be a victim and say, I don't have time for this business. Everything else needs my attention. Or I could use this business as a way to figure it out, to problem solve what was going on. And that's exactly what I did. So during that very hard season, we went Ruby and Senior Ruby. I would work at night. I did not have time to work during the day. I was raising 2 little children and an 18-year-old boy, had no idea how to raise a teenager. And we had to switch rooms at one point because our room was in the back of the house and his room was by the girls, and we didn't really know him that well. So anyway, it was just this crazy thing, right? And so long story short, during that season, I found power partners. Who you surround yourself with is massively important, because the people you surround yourself with are either going to make you better or worse. I don't believe there's like a neutral zone. I feel like they're either growing you or they're pulling you backwards. And so I found some power partners to do life with. That was Joanna and Emily Burgess, Joanna Miller. We connected when we were senior gold, and we have ranked up every single rank together since then. And we are not on the same downline, you guys. We are completely separate. So you tell me that the people you surround yourself with is not important. Like, I do not believe I would be diamond when I was without them. So that was massively important. And then I do believe earning the Silver Stars trip was one of the best things that we could have ever done. We had not taken a trip away together, my husband and I. This is like we're coming out of that like very hard season, and then we earned that trip. So I mean, if I wouldn't have worked my butt off during that season to earn that trip for us to go away carefree, like, no, I really feel like that was something that really saved our marriage. We hadn't done that. We hadn't even talked. We didn't have conversations around like anything other than our kids, and that allowed us that space. And so that was just another way that Plexus has offered us some relief via hard work to get there. And so you're choosing your mindset is my other tip. Are you being a victim or are you being a victor today? Because every single thing that you're going to hit is figure outable, and the answer is never to just quit and stop. It's just to figure out the problem. And so then we went Emerald later that year, and here's what you need to know. My entire team quit after I went Senior Ruby. I had 4 level 1 golds, I think, something like that, maybe 1 senior gold, 2 or 3 gold, level 1 golds. They all stopped working, every single one of them during that time. But here's what I have found, and every single time this has happened, this is true. So I know this to be a fact by this point, and I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know this as well. When you hit those hard seasons and you figure out the problem, you rebuild faster and better every single time you rebuild. And that was my very first rebuild season. I found I found 3 of my level 1 jewels during that season. All 3 of them. And then the other one I found very shortly after that. And she started from Instagram, a product taker, super random, but now she's a total blessing. But during that rebuild season, I led a lot with the business. I did my IPA 5 to 7 times a week. You guys, sometimes I would do more than just 1 IPA sheet. Your IPA sheet does not take you longer than an hour. If you are not working your business for 7 hours a week and you want to make $10,000 and $20,000 or more a month, that's not going to happen. Like, don't expect to work your business 5 hours a week and then get this $5,000 and $10,000 paycheck. It's not going to happen. And if it does, you're a unicorn, and teach me what you do, because I don't know how to do that. But for me, I came from working in corporate America. You know, I would leave my house at 7 a.m. and I would get home at 6. I was working a lot of hours, making a heck of a lot less money. So if you told me to work through my business 3 hours a day to be making anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 a month, heck yeah, I'm game. Let's go. Because that right there is like, I'm grateful for that. That is a blessing to be able to do that. So anyway, I really dove into treating this like a business and not a hobby. I led with the business and my messaging a lot. Okay, I really made lists of those dream teamers and girls that I really wanted to do this with. And I do what's called dripping the business. I don't even know how to define this. It's just what our team calls it. And basically it's this like slow drip effect of inundating somebody with the fact that they don't know they want this business yet, but they're going to do it. And it might look something like, hey, I see somebody on Instagram and have this really cool cookie business. And I might say something like, hey, when you're ready to talk about delivering those cookies in your free Plexus Lexus, I want to have that talk with you. And that might be the first drip. And the second drip might be a day where her baby is sick. And I'll be like, hey, listen, can I send you some samples? The next drip might just be, maybe she started her products and I'm like, hey, the day you decide to do this, I know you're going to bomb at it because of XYZ, right? So it's this slow drip of just letting people know that you believe in them. And so I did a lot of that during that season. I'm trying to think what else might be helpful. Oh, we did a lot of Facebook events, lots of silvers. Silver brings new life to your team. Silver is energy. Last month, we noticed, it was about mid-month, we noticed our ads were a little bit down and we noticed that the energy was a little lower. And then I went to look and I was like, none of our new girls are asking questions in our thread. We have a new person thread. None of our new girls are asking questions and there's not been a lot of celebrations. And so I went to my leaders and I was like, we have got to get them to start communicating because community also creates energy. And so they started putting questions in there. We started celebrating activity instead of just results. And by the end of the month, our ads were normal again and celebrations were normal. The amount of new silvers that we had added last month was a normal number for us. And it really is just so much about silver. So if you're not creating silvers, I want to encourage you to do that. And if you have questions about doing that, I would love to answer them because I do think that is so important. And I think that's everything I've got as far as like my journey goes. So if you have questions, I would love to answer them. Yeah.
Jordan, one question I have for you is knowing that you have two, what I would call power diamonds above you with Jessica Heffley and Tamara Holloway, how much did you rely on them? And how much did you say, they're great as a resource, but I am the lead pack for this, team, as opposed to always waiting for them to do something or always joining what they did. When did you actually decide this is my thing and I'm the leader going forward here?
So Jessica was already diamond when I started and I didn't know her. In fact, I went to my sponsor, Cassandra. Fun fact, I tried to sign up under Jessica and she tried to recruit me at one point. And then I came back to her and she was already diamond. She was like, why don't you go talk to this girl? I know that you know her too. And so I almost was her level one. But long story short, I don't rely on them at all. And I didn't know them. And I'm a huge proponent. So do not hear this and then go create your own team pages because I'm a huge proponent for unity especially when it comes to team challenges and threads and team pages. But her team was already massive. She didn't know me. I could add no value to what she already did. And I knew none of her other jewels, none. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to create community. I'm just going to figure this out. And so I dove into that. I dove into 5 levels of leadership. If you haven't read this book, it is like the Plexus Bible, if you haven't read it. And I just learned how to do this. And so I relied on N0. In fact, I remember when we did our very first gold retreat, I was senior Ruby and I ran my very first retreat and I was so nervous. And I remember asking Jess and Tamara, I was like, can y'all come? And they both said yes. And I was like, hallelujah. Like, this is the first time my team's ever gotten to meet them or talk to them or anything. And so I don't know if that answers your question the way you'd like, but.
No, I think here's why I think that's so key, because so many people are waiting on their jewel upline to do the next thing. They're waiting on their jewel upline to do a momentum meetup. They're waiting on their jewel upline to do an opportunity call, or actually to teach them how to go silver, or whatever the question is, or the thing that's stopping them. And I think what I hear from you is I went and figured it out. I went and read a book, not because a jewel upline was saying, hey, we're going to do a book study, therefore I'm reading a book. I'm reading a book because it matters to me. So the personal ownership and personal responsibility that you took is so huge and massive. On actually one reason why I think your wit is so big in leadership is because you showed other people, like, hey, don't rely on me, you go do it. Hey, don't rely on me, you go do it. And I just think you launched leaders because you launched yourself. And so you knew what that was like, instead of always being plugged into somebody else and going, well, I don't know how I did it because I just did whatever they told me to do. And it's like, no, I figured out how to do it. And I want you to figure out how to do it. I think it's so important.
I love the topic of leadership because I was really bad at it. I told you, my whole team quit. I was a terrible leader. And once you read this book, like I was a level 1 leader until I was senior Ruby. I could produce, add, but had no other leadership skills. And so this book was like everything for me. What else? This is Parker, by the way, chilling back here.
Y'all, this is the time to unmute and ask someone a question. Unmute yourself and be bold to ask the question that is actually stopping you from moving forward in your business. This is the time to get it done.
I'm not scary.
I have a question. When you are developing your silvers into golds, what is the number one thing that you sort of put on repeat for them?
Okay, well, tell me why someone would not want to go from silver to gold.
I just have found for me, when the closer they get to gold and when they reach gold, that's really the point where they decide like, oh, okay, this is a business. And so I'm just curious, like if I'm missing something when I'm growing them and encouraging them from silver to gold, if there's something that I can add into that time frame that sort of helps with that fear that, they're not really talking about, but it's there.
Yeah, for sure. So mine has always been gold to senior gold. It used to be gold, but I feel like with this new comp plan, it has really kind of shifted to like that 150 point mark. People can get to about 130, 150, and then they start feeling that pressure of it being a business. We have created a community of business owners. We love our hobby owners, but we have created a community of business owners. We add 3 a month. We help develop silvers, and we really rise people up into like, hey, this is what's possible. And I really feel like we do that through a lot of one-on-one vision casting and like belief building. And so it's lots of asking questions like, why do you want this? Where do you want to go? Can I show you what's possible? Let's learn the comp plan together so I can actually show you what these numbers mean and these points mean. And so it's really getting them comfortable with the idea of having a business. With that. And I treat them like a business owner. And I think the biggest tip I could give somebody is like, when you feel that they're nervous, the thing you don't want to do is tiptoe. Because when you start tiptoeing, it makes them so uncomfortable. But the thing that is going to make them wildly more passionate and excited is your energy and your confidence. And so for me, it's really calling out what I see in them, giving them my energy, my confidence, and what we have, how we do it, the system. Can I walk you through that? Are you game? And so those are some things that I feel like we do really well.
Hi, I'm sorry. I seem to be the infinite customer creator. I have one incredible business builder, but I seem every time I even do the drip lane, that's how I do it. I do the little drips of, don't you think you would like to have extra income? Or everybody loves the products. I've got customers that have been with me for 5 years and do not care to make one dime. And then if they have somebody interested, they give them my phone number. I'm like, no, let's just sign them under you. Come on, let's start this. And I just can't seem to, maybe my energy's not right or correct, but I seem to be, like I said, just the infinite customer creator.
When's the last time you posted about the business?
I try to do that a couple times a month, only because I am, you're correct. Because honestly, one of the things that I have avoided since my divorce is tying, even though that was the blessing after the divorce, that I did have that income coming in. Praise God. But it's hard for me to say that's the reason why, because I try to keep that off of social media. just out of respect for the family and things. But it was a blessing. I guess telling the truth is not supposed to be a bad thing. But
Telling the truth is never a bad thing. And you don't have to air your dirty laundry on social media. But also, if you want really great product takers, you're going to post about products. If you want really great, excited, energetic business builders, you're going to talk about business. And I do it probably every day, if not every other, in some way, shape, or form.
okay.
So now you need to tell me, and this is something you don't have to actually tell me, but like, why are you confident in this business? Why are you excited about this business? What does this business actually do for people? Jessica asked a question the other day. She said, why are you, what was the question? Oh, it was so good. It was, why? Oh, I'll find it. I'll send it to you. It was really great. It's something about why are you something convicted in your offer of the business? I'll have to find it. I'll send it to you. What else y'all want to know?
I was going to piggyback off of what Jill was talking about. At what point in their growth that they decide to make it a business, do you stop doing so much hand holding with them and guiding them along and release them to kind of do what you did, to kind of go out on their own and make it their own?
So I feel like there's a lot of different ways to do this. So I look at some of my jewels, and they're all different, and they all needed different things at different times, different things that motivate them. They're all different Enneagram numbers. I mean, it's just, so there's a different answer per person. So sometimes I just ask them, like, what makes you excited about leadership? Do you want to lead a book study? Do you want to host a power hour? Does writing content for a team page get you all tingly inside? Like, what gets you excited about this whole leadership thing? Because the truth is, like, I want to surround myself with a lot of people who have a lot of gifts, and maybe they have these two things that are really good. And I love to write team page content. I'm not gonna lie, I hate speaking on stage. It makes me incredibly nervous. It always has, probably always will. But like, I'm like, Chandler, you got to step up, because you're gonna when they ask me, I'm telling them to go to you. And so I just like asking them, what do you want to, and the truth is, there's one of the books, I think it's 21 Laws of Leadership. It talks about anytime you open your business and your team and yourself up to somebody taking a space like that, I'm going to take this on. You're always opening yourself up to be disappointed. And it's just a fact. So sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not going to work. And the truth, like, I'm here for the top 20% of the time that it's going to work. And the rest of the time, we just have to bless and release. So, and I actually had a gold who was a business builder for me, and I love her. Oh, I'm so excited. She came back after being gone for a year this last month, and she added 4 last month. She's already added 2 this month, and she's so excited. And so that's the first thing I said. I was like, where do you want to lead? Tell me where we can get you plugged in. So.
Y'all, please keep asking questions, because Andrea and I are like biting our tongues because we could ask a million, but I really feel like y'all need to ask questions.
Jordan.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so you said you had to rebuild. Did you say after Emerald? Is that correct?
Is Senior Ruby. We got to about 800 points and then dropped down to about Ruby points.
Okay. Okay. So in each rank, did you basically have to build a brand new team? You know what I mean? Okay, my
Yeah.
existing team is amazing, but it's not, and I've had one person tell me off already on my team because I said this, that you got me to Emerald, but I need a whole new team, and I offended her to get to the next level, which would be Sapphire.
Well, why
Yeah.
is she offended? I mean, she's offended because, is she stuck? Is she offended because she feels like you don't love her anymore? Like, why is she offended?
I think it's because then she feels if I do that, then she's not my rock star anymore. And then she gets pushed underneath the rug if I am looking for a whole new team to go to the next level.
Okay, so if you stop recruiting business builders and creating leaders, is that doing her a service or a disservice?
That's a if I stop, that's a disservice.
To
because-
her. Why?
Yeah.
It is. It is. You're doing
it
her
is.
a disservice by you not being in activity.
Okay.
And here, I'll tell you why. The best thing you can do for your leaders is to keep going without them, because it releases pressure on them to be something, whether or not they want to be that or not. I'll give you an example. When we were pushing for Sapphire, I went diamond with no jewels on my team. And I had 2 girls that were like, yeah, we're going emerald. Let's go. And I love these girls and they're emerald now, but they both stopped mid-month and they were like, oh, I can't do it. It's not my month. They got nervous. They got scared, whatever the reason. Okay. So I went and created 4 silvers in the last 72 hours of the month. And we didn't hit Sapphire, but we did the next month by about 20 orders. And the 2 girls that I helped go Sapphire both added 10 people that next month. And what that did for my jewel was she got to see, hey, come here. Let me grab her really fast. She got to see that, not that I didn't need her, but I was not relying on her for anything. She got to see that there's not one leg that's going to just change your entire business, that you have more control over your business than you give yourself credit. And so what has happened is she has one really strong leg who has been her top ranking leg for almost 2 years. And she just had a brand new leg past that leg. And she was so excited. She was like, I feel empowered. I feel like I have more control over my business than I gave myself credit. And so you're releasing pressure, but you can take her with you. That doesn't mean you're leaving her. Like, take her with you. Be like, hey, dude, I'm not leaving you. We're going to go create new golds together. Because I really do feel like most ranks are built on golds and senior golds. Like, that's how I went emerald. That's how I went sapphire. I think I had 2 rubies when we went sapphire and diamond. So
that helps tremendously. Thank you. And I know it's a mindset and belief thing. And I'm constantly pouring and serving my team with that. So what other books do you recommend? You said 5 Levels of Leadership, which I've read over and over and over again. I think I need to revisit that though. What other books do you recommend?
Well, I can tell you, let me just tell you some of the books that I have read during my journey that have helped me in different stages. And so when I was trying to get over some scarcity mindset stuff, I was just trying to like understand leadership and success in general. I did read Secret Code to Success, which was really helpful. Actually really helpful. It helped me with a lot of mindset things. And then Get Over Your Damn Self. If you have never read that, it is like you have to read it. That and John Maxwell's new, like, what is it? There's always like a number. It's like always, what's the new one he wrote that's like this tiny? I'll have to go look it up.
The one that's specifically for network marketers.
Yes.
Right? Yes, I know. I've got it.
What's it called? It's in there somewhere. Anyway, yes. But I mean, really, 21 Laws of Leadership, developing the leader within you, developing the leaders around you. Those are all really good books. And then lately I read, a couple of months ago, I read Vision Driven Leader, and that was really helpful. But yeah, I really do feel like for you, it's just a matter of like taking her with you and just being like, hey, listen, we're going to go create new goals together and this new energy together.
I have a question. I've been hesitant to ask it, but
I love hesitant questions.
But one of the things that I think I personally am experiencing is fatigue and rebuilding. And it's been with the company for a really long 9 years almost. And, you rebuild and you get there and then kind of go backwards, and then you rebuild. And it's just like this constant rebuild mindset. And I'd love to hear like podcasts or books or anything that you think help kind of break this mindset of it's rebuilding, because that's how it feels. And there's fatigue that comes with that of like, here we go again, we got to rebuild again, or it's just constantly feeling like you're in rebuild mode instead of momentum of some sort.
Yeah. So for me, the thing that has given me so much freedom is creating leaders. So my question first is to you is, when you're rebuilding, are you just recruiting a ton? Or are you actually creating leaders who are creating leaders who are creating leaders?
Yeah, like for me personally, and Andrea and I talk about this a lot. I have a hard time adding recruiting a lot with building. So I focus on one or the other. Either I'm adding a ton or I'm focused on the one person. But what's happened is then that one person, you get them, up and up and up and up, and then they get to a certain level. A lot of times it's the senior Ruby section for my team. And then when they're gone, it's like, oh no, it's not that I'm not still focusing on building silvers and senior silvers and golds. I'm just not getting, I guess for me, it's when someone actually gets excited and they want to build. I'm like, yes, you can have all my attention, everything, where everybody else is like, I'm still focusing on that, but nobody else has the interest. I'm just being super transparent. Like that's been my journey.
Yeah. So I don't feel like I've ever been in a season where I gave one person all my attention. I feel like that puts all my eggs in one basket. And if it doesn't work out, I would get extremely disappointed because we can't control people. And so why do you feel like because I mean, it sounds like you probably have more than one person that maybe wants to go silver or work a business. Why do you choose one person?
I don't think it's a choose so much as, or it doesn't feel like a choose so much as like, this is the one person that will get on calls, go to events, go out and do the things, wants to earn whatever's out there and desires to grow a business versus, feeling like there's other people I may see potential in and I'm trying to build that belief in, but they're not catching the vision or they have zero interest.
Do you feel like you could coach more than one person at one time?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like this is like this is like a thought coaching exercise, like that probably needs to happen is like there's probably some like thought that you have that is really holding you back from creating leaders and jewels. And I don't know what is the fatigue from, do you think? Like, is it because you feel like people are taking advantage of your time? Like, what is the fatigue actually from?
That's a good question. I don't know if I know. I think again, being super transparent, I think the fatigue is like, okay, we got all the way here and now we're starting.
Where are you? Emerald, Sapphire?
I'm a Sapphire.
Okay.
And I went from not holding Sapphire to, a couple hundred points from Diamond, and it's been that fluctuation. And I've held Sapphire for a couple years now, but even last month, again, transparency, I was very close to not holding Sapphire. And that's the first time I've had that in years. And there's this oh my gosh, I was here a couple of years ago, did so much growth, personal growth, business growth. And now I'm back here again. And it's happened multiple times in the 9 years where you're just like, yes, some of it's mindset. And I called Andrea and I was like, maybe I'm just supposed to be at Sapphire. Maybe that's where I'm going to be. And I know I'm a sister, so that doesn't help because as a sister, she's way more blunt with her conversations with me. But you do sit there and you're like, okay, but because she's also always reminded me, but Sapphire is still a beautiful place to be. That's still not something I can complain about, right? Or Emerald, or most of those things. I remember as a single mom going Ruby thinking I had hit the lottery. So it's more of starting over again. And it's not because I'm not still trying to build leaders. I've been doing that even alongside. And it feels like you build a leader and then they leave and then you build another leader, but you can't seem to get multiple leaders building at one time.
You can.
Right.
But I think you maybe have told yourself that you can't. I just feel like there's so many there's some root thoughts in here that really need to be broken down. And yes, you should be grateful for where you are, but can you see Diamond? Can you see it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it? Do you see your team, what it's going to look like? And do you have jewels on your team right now? Do they want to be Sapphire and Diamond?
I have diamonds on my team. I have a level 1 diamond and then the level 2 level 1 Sapphire, level 2 diamond, level 3 diamond, level 4 diamond, level 5 Sapphire. We have you know, I have a good primary leg.
Yeah.
And they're still in the same, you know, growth mindset too. Like, I feel like that's it's the outside that I've been working on. And I was like way beyond diamond outside points. And now it's like struggling to hold the sapphire outside points, which sounds so crazy in my head. I'm like, how did I go from here to here?
It's not crazy, because here's the thing. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Every single thing. You go help one more person on your outside leg, go ruby, go senior ruby, go emerald. You will never be worried about those points ever again. Like, everything rises and falls on leadership. And so for me, when I am having these like moments of like, okay, I'm grateful for where I am, but I really want to grow. And it's really easy to find proof of like, I'm not good enough, or comparison, or whatever the thing is over here. And it's like, I've got diamonds on my team. Maybe I don't deserve to do this. Maybe I'm not good at this. Like, man, the devil is so good at making us question what we're capable of. For me, it's just, I have to go seek proof that it's possible. I do that in a lot of different ways. But the biggest thing for me is just to go get the wins. Now, your original question was about fatigue. How do I not get fatigued? I think it's because I'm constantly focusing on who is running. And I can do that because I'm constantly creating new runners. And if you want to run to senior gold, I'm ready. If you want to run to ruby, I'm ready. If you want to run to gold, I'm ready. And because I'm constantly running with whoever is running, my fatigue I can honestly tell you, I've never been fatigued in my business. And I really do feel like it's because I am choosing very, very specifically the energy that I'm allowing in my space. And so instead of maybe being fatigued with your people that start and stop, maybe don't be frustrated with the start and stop, and just focus more on like, okay, this one stopped, who's ready? Like, who's ready to go? I don't know if that's helpful, but
Yeah, it's helpful.
it's helped me. I mean, even my emerald has stopped before, you know, I tap rooted into her team, helped develop her team while she was gone. And then when she came back, I always assumed they're coming back. When she came back, her business did not fall.
And it sounds like you're able, if I'm going to piggyback on this for clarity, it sounds like you're able to not let the people stopping take much energy from you. Because I would say that my fatigue comes from giving the people who are tapping out, giving a lot of emotional and mental energy to them, which then robs me of the energy I need to recruit and develop. Is that fair to say? I just want to snuggle your baby, by the way.
Yes. And another thing that I've noticed, Sarah, is whenever I have felt my time was taken advantage of, and I have no idea if this is the case, but again, I always go back to this book, almost always. When I like try and put up those walls, I stop connecting with people because I'm like, if I don't let them in, they can't hurt me. And so I don't know if that maybe has played a role in your thoughts, but I know it did for me for a while. And that's the level 2 leadership. Anyway, any other questions around that? I'm sorry, I don't even know if that was very helpful, but.
Yeah, absolutely. It was helpful.
I have a question kind of to go along with that. So
Okay.
Going back to you rebuilding, because that's kind of the state that I'm in now. Because I had to kind of take a step back for a little bit, and then my whole team left to go somewhere else, but that's beside the point. So how do you get over the fact of, or I guess the fear of, okay, I had a good team at one time and they all left me for XYZ reason. How do I rebuild with maybe like a better mindset, or not what if they're just gonna, like, I'm gonna build this whole team again and they're all gonna leave me again? Like, how do you get past that?
Because here's what I always go back to is victim or victor. I can choose to think the team I'm about to rebuild is going to leave me eventually, or I can seek proof that the team I'm about to build is going to be my next emerald leg.
Okay. I did write that down, so I'm going to highlight it.
And I'm constantly doing that. And I wish there was like a book. There probably is a book to teach you how to do that. I've probably read it and I don't even remember which one it was, or maybe it's just all of them. But the thing is, like, everything we do is a choice. And I don't remember, I can't remember her name, but she was super cute, little Hispanic girl with like the little dark Bob that she did one of our conventions or something, and she was like, what's the best that could happen? I think was her quote. What's the best thing that could happen? Instead of like, what's the worst case scenario? It's like, what's the best option? And so I just always choose that. Like, I really do feel like if you looked at the girls that have, 9-star diamonds, 6-star diamonds and above, like optimism is one of their core values. And so it's practicing that and seeking proof for that. And if they leave, it means nothing about you. You go do it again. Because the truth is, you can go create as many gold, senior golds, rubies, emeralds as you want. It's up to you. Parker really likes this book too, apparently.
That helps a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you've been holding back a question, you better ask quick, because Parker is being so happy, but this mama I know is on I told her she only had to be on for 20 minutes. So she's going, and I love it. I'm totally here for you coaching our team.
I was say, hopefully this is approved by you.
100%. I'm like, please. Who else? Ask your question. Get some good coaching while you can. I'll ask for myself. What did you say to yourself when you had those, I think you said 4 level 1 golds left? Hello, I have been there. I've been there like many years.
Many times, yeah.
What did you say to yourself that for the next right step in that moment?
Yeah. Again, my vision was bigger than, here's the hardest thing you will go through in your business for me is losing people when you know what they're capable of and you know that they're choosing the thing that's not going to be best for them. You know they're choosing scarcity over the thing that they can do, they could be wildly successful. The hardest thing that I have had to overcome in this business is watching people not do that. And so with that in mind, I also know that if they are not ready, that is okay. I will go find someone who is. And so that is what I did. Like literally that same week, I made a new dream team list of 10 to 20 people, a new list of 100. I started getting back to IPA and I was like, dadgummit, I am going to figure out how to create jewels. I will have 10 jewels on my team in my levels 1 and 2. I will have it. And those girls weren't ready yet. And so that is what I did. And also if you read this book, on level 2 leadership, it talks about how you naturally gravitate to like the soft aspects of leadership, which is like the relationship building, or you naturally gravitate to the harder aspects, which is the productivity. I obviously naturally gravitate towards the harder, so I had to, obviously I poured into that, but I really had to learn that level 2. Like I had to go learn that I needed to know their kids' names as I was creating these new goals. I need to go figure out what their kids' names are, what they love, how they take, like that was not natural to me. I know y'all are laughing because it's probably natural to you, but it is not to me. And in my head, everybody just wanted to run. Everybody just wanted to just go and do. And I had no idea that people did not tick the way that I ticked. And so I had to go work on my foundation, my business foundation. I do enjoy building relationships now. And really it was just a front for me not wanting to put myself out there and be vulnerable. So that was my protective mechanism. My IPA sheet can't hurt me, people can. So I'd rather just not work with people. Anyway, so I got to work is what I did. Not just IPA work, but also understanding people better, understanding how they are motivated, how they are demotivated, understanding their fears and what they want and asking good questions. And I just became a better leader and got into activity.
Yeah, girl, I love that. And here's the thing too, is I wish the one thing I wish everyone on this call could take away, and Jordan said it, is like, she was not a natural leader. I think you said silver was like in the works for a year, or you went silver and you were stalled for a year.
Yeah, I was like, basically I told myself I was going to go silver, and then I just like stopped for like a whole year. I'd like post once every month.
That's the most encouraging thing you've shared, because honestly, that tells me there's someone on my team currently or someone I'm going to recruit who can go diamond, like not just diamond, like Portugal diamond, who just needs to learn leadership. And I would tell y'all the number one thing I'm hearing on this call is that is a muscle that Jordan exercised over and over and over again. And that's why she can confidently take y'all's questions and she hasn't paused once. My favorite thing you said was tiptoeing makes people uncomfortable. I'm like, I've got to go journal about this, because does that resonate with anyone? Do you feel like you're tiptoeing in your business? Okay. And that sends a message to people. Please don't join my team. I will be terrified if you join my team. I'm so uncomfortable with leadership that I am tiptoeing around this question. So I thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've just given us like an hour of your time. Thank you, Parker, for being so good girl.
She really has been. She just knew today was a good day to not be crazy.
No, Jordan, I appreciate you. I know you've got to move along and get on with your day.
No, I appreciate y'all having me. Super fun.
There's something you said you were going to send me, and so I'll just remind you.
I'll send you a podcast. There's a question I'm going to send you from Jessica Heffley, and then there's a podcast on a hobby owner versus a business owner that is really good. And can I encourage y'all with one thing going into the next 90 days? December 2 years ago, we had no contest ending. It was not anything special, and it was just like, has anybody ever said December is a slow month? You guys, December being a slow month is a choice. December has never, except for 1 year, been a slow month in my business. Never. Because every day I work 5 days a week at least. This business works when you work. So if your whole team pulls back, you have no power hours scheduled, and you don't teach people how to be a business owner and have a whole lot of fun at the same time, you don't teach them how to do that, then they're just going to pull back and their business is going to go backwards. So my encouragement to you is to create a space over the next 90 days, holidays, to be business owners, get your stuff done, and then go play. Like I preach work hard, play hard so much, because I believe in that level of business ownership, but also balance in your family. And so I just want to encourage all that with that, because the next 90 days don't have to be slow. In fact, they can be really fun.
Yeah. What happened in your business that December? You were saying there was a December where there was no contest. What'd y'all do?
Yeah. Well, that was my very first December. I went from always recruiting like 5, 10, and I recruited one person. And I have I have never done that again in the last 5 years. I've never only recruited one person a month, because that gave me such PTSD. And I saw what that did to my team, because I wasn't working. So they're not working because I'm the lid to my team. And it was our slowest month ever. So we did a 100-person reach out at the end of that month, where everybody made a list of 100 people. And I think I had 4 people finish it. I think I had maybe 6 people do the whole thing. I was senior gold at this time. And then we earned silver stars 2 months later. We had our biggest month up until that point, that January. And now, I mean, a lot of those girls left, but y'all, you can't focus on that. Like, would I change any of that? No, I learned a whole lot. We grew, taprooted into some of those girls' teams, and it was worth it. And so you can't look at it that way. So
Keep on moving. Momentum is energy, and energy starts with me. I love that. Hey, friend, thank you. God, you're a good coach. I loved this, y'all. We will post the recording on the table, and I just wish you all a great week of work. Thanks, Jordan.
welcome. Thank y'all.